Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So this time I'm going to be working on the center module on this side of the layout. I have a fair amount of work to do over here yet, similar to what I was doing on the other side, where there'll be areas along in here where I can add grass tufts, same over in here. I can do a little bit more detail work and just, kind of bring out some of the highlights on this. I also have to finish up here where I've got polyfiber just sort of tucked in behind the trees. But I need to finish that off and then again add some little grass tufts and some other stuff along the layout in this area here. Now, sharp-eyed viewers might notice the tree line looks a little different. So this past week, I made up another batch of trees, and those are not them. I made up a batch of 11 of the pine trees like what I've been making. So I wasn't happy with some of the first generation trees that I built here. So I went back in and I selectively pulled, I think it's 8 trees out here and replaced them with the pine trees that I've been doing. These are okay. And I'm going to take them, I'm going to trim them, I'm going to do some different things with some different size of static grass and see if I can make them look a little better. And I might be able to put them back on the layout in a few different areas. But right now, I've got 451 trees on the layout. I added, there's 8 that I took off. I put 11 on. 8 of them went into the holes where these were, and 3 of them I put in to kind of actually be foreground trees to kind of block some of the other trees that I had built earlier. So I came back in and took out the tree that was here, and I added this nice one up here. Added a couple of more trees right in here, sort of as a view block to give it some depth. Went in and added or replaced some trees right in here. Replaced a couple of trees that were right here with some of the nicer pine trees, put in a couple of the nicer pine trees right in here. And then you can kind of see this tall tree right here. I added, again, a bit as a view block back into the scene where the deer are at. Again, that's just kind of hide some of the early Gen 1 twist trees that I put in. Nothing wrong with them as background trees. I'm going to leave them, but I wanted to add some different trees into the foreground. So I've succeeded in doing what I wanted to do. Now I'm going to turn my attention to doing some of the detailed scenery piece. So that's what the bulk of this particular episode's going to be. Taking care and adding some grass and some other details in this. By the end of this episode, I should have this pretty much completed with scenery. Still have to go in there and add a tunnel liner. Another episode maybe. So let's see what I can get into this time. So I've been over here for a few minutes and I've been putting in grass tufts along the O standard gauge just over on this side of the canyon. And now that I've got this out, I am going to be putting in my abutments on this bridge as well. Same method. I'm going to come in and add a couple of drywall screws, let the head stick out a little ways so the sculptor mold can bite into it. And then I will build up just some abutments on this edge. Neither of them will be really big, but it'll add that little bit more realism for this bridge that it's actually sitting on something. So I think I'm going to do that here pretty quick. So I got my drywall screws drilled in on both sides. Just enough where I can pack sculptor mold around it, just to make sure that it bites in. It will also bite into the crevices of the existing rock work. You know, the abutments will probably start from right about here and then go up. And then I'll pack it in and around this area. So this one's going to be a fairly small abutment, you know, natural slope on this cliff face so that they could easily build that one in. Over on this side, you can see the screws I put in. Can't get accessed from the other side easily without pulling a tree out. But I can still do this. This one will be, let's see here. You know, I will start the abutment kind of down near the bottom of this and then bring it up. So it'll still just be right to about there and then over. Just a little bit bigger just from the way the rock face is on that side. So it shouldn't take me too long to get this done. I'll show you just a couple of little snippets since I had a full episode on doing abutments on the other bridge. Show you when this is a little farther along. So it's been about 30, maybe 40 minutes, and I've got them in on both sides. I will smooth them out ever so slightly here yet. I've kind of got some of the basic carving already done. You know, this one's a small one. Coming across to the other side, you know, this one's a little bit more of a standout. But like I said, I didn't need to go too far, but I've got it where it's a nice abutment on that side and nice on this side. So I will let this dry for a little while, and then I will come back in and paint just like I did on the other one. I will take some of that sand dune color, paint that up, and then add on a wash of the hammered iron just to kind of settle in, give it some shadows, and then touch up the scenery just around these. But short, sweet, and simple. Worked pretty well. O scale, you've got at least space where you can work. You know, if I ever do more O scale, I might continue to just build them in place. It seems to work out pretty well. Other scales, probably not. Couldn't get my fingers in. But next scene, either we'll show these painted or I'll have some more grass planted on this side. I'll just see what I can get done tonight. Well, later on Saturday evening, and I have the wash put on the abutment, and yeah, I think it's good enough for what I'm going to do. Let's come over to this one, and same thing here. All right, so next things that I'm going to get started on is I will add additional ballast on both sides. And then put in some grass and some other stuff, kind of blend it in a little bit more. Add a little bit of grass in a few areas on this. And then see what else I can get into for this side here yet on this video. So this abutment is completed. Came back in with some ballast. You can see the color is a little darker because I've got it glued up. Added in some additional little grass tufts in different areas. Started to add in some grass in just little spots up here as well. And a little bit more right there. So I will continue, maybe do a little bit more this evening, and come across and add in some additional grass tufts up there before I come down to do the other abutment, add in a little bit more grass there, and then come down here and add in a few, not really too much, just a few areas kind of right in here with some grass just on this. And that's actually probably going to be about it. So I'll get a little bit more done this evening, and we'll see where we are for length on this video. So got a little bit more grass put in. I'm going to wrap it up for a Saturday night. Got started up over here. On this one, I figured I'd get the grass in first, then I'll soak the poly fiber that's behind it, and then give it a little shot of some ground cover. But that's it for today. So this ends a productive Saturday over here on this particular module. So we'll just kind of step back a little bit. Things are coming together on it pretty well. The paint is drying slowly on that new sculpt mold that I put in. Happy with the bridge abutments, happy with the grass. So I'll get a little bit more done on this video, probably a little bit more on the grass over on that side up to the first module, and then we'll call it good. So I will get the last little bit done here. For the last snip on this episode. Put some grass in there yet, down there, and I'll finish up just on that poly fiber up there. But I did notice something on the O standard that's been hidden in plain sight. So take a look at the bridge, and then, excuse as I spit around here, take a look at this bridge. I have not added the guardrails in over here. Sitting yesterday as I was doing some of the grass and the abutments, and I'm thinking, something's missing. And then it dawned on me that I hadn't put those guardrails in. That'll be another episode. Maybe I'll do that at the same time I do the tunnel liner. I just kind of show you how I can put the guardrails on track like this. But anyway, let me get my materials and get this part finished up, and then we'll wrap up this video. So this is going to do it for this video. I have added in grass tufts in different areas here, just to kind of build it up. Excuse me. Did a few up on this as well, and that's on the other module, and right there's the seam. So I added some additional grass tufts in through there. A little bit more in there. Did come back in and added a little bit more underneath the bridge in that grassy area. So with that, I think that's going to wrap up this episode. We're long enough. Next time, coming back, I will see if I can get the guardrails added to the bridge, get the track painted on the narrow gauge bridge, and then finish the scenery up on that little piece of ridge. And I think I might have to do a little bit more over here too. I'll wait and see. That'll be easy enough if I do. So anyway, that's it. Keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.